Well, hello and welcome back to another edition of the Hiking Journal, my solo hike around Pine Mountain in the Laguna Mountain Recreation Area of San Diego. In this edition of the journal, I share my adventure as I try to outrun the summer thunderstorm and do a little off-trail scrambling to get to the top of Pine Mountain. And I also try to locate a hidden lake and climb to the summit of Champagne Peak. That'll all be coming up in this edition of the Hiking Journal. According to Pigbagger, Pine Mountain stands at 5,640 feet and sits in the northeast corner of the Laguna Mountain Recreation Area, just across the street from the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. And while it's definitely not the tallest peak around, it just might be one of the most interesting. The trail I'm doing today is called the Pine Mountain Loop on All Trails, and it's listed as a moderately difficult 4.8-mile loop with only a modest 587 feet of elevation gain. Not too bad. It doesn't involve any long distances, high altitude, scorching desert heat, or even the steep loose terrain you're used to. Ought to be pretty easy, right? Well, what's that old saying, making a mountain out of a molehill? Well, I sure made this hike a lot more difficult than it had to be. I also learned a very valuable lesson on this hike. Remember that other old saying, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater? Well, just because you got the trail map downloaded on your new phone and you carry a fancy GPS for navigation, don't forget those old school paper maps, a compass, and some common sense. Boy, I sure tossed out the baby on this one big time. I'll explain a little later. Now, I don't usually do a lot of hiking in the summer because it's just too damn hot. Unless you can get up above 6,000 or 7,000 feet in elevation, it's just too hot for me. Unless, how about a summer monsoon blowing in? Drops the temperatures down 20 degrees and brings with it some thunder, lightning, and some heavy rain. Okay, now you're talking. This summer has been brutal. Temperatures have exceeded the highest global averages on Earth. Phoenix shattered an all-time record for the most consecutive days over 110 degrees.
Phoenix, wilting in the valley of the sunstroke. Dehydration, dizziness, delirium. No surprise given today's forecast. A record 24th straight day with temperatures hitting 110 degrees or more.
And Death Valley got close to their all-time record of 134 degrees several times. And they had several days that the daytime high reached 120 and even broke the 130 marker. It's been so hot that several hikers died just feet from their vehicles. Yikes. So I was pretty confident, sitting in my office with the AC on, my feet up, drinking an IPA and dreaming of the high Sierras. When the news hit of a big old monsoon heading our way, I thought, that'd be pretty cool. Doing a hike in the rain on a hot summer day, dodging some lightning and maybe even finding a hidden lake. Hell yeah, let's do it. Now, I drove east from Temecula, passing through the aviation support staging area for the bonfire in nearby Anza, and headed up through Julie into the Laguna Mountain Recreation Area, where I parked the Jeep at the Pioneer Mail Trailhead, a day-use picnic area right along the PCT. As I gathered my running vest and my fanny pack with additional hydration, I heard a loud crack of thunder and felt the first drop of rain. The sky was dark and ominous to the south, and I could see bands of rain already working their way toward me. I crossed Sunrise Highway and quickly started down the Pine Mountain Trail into Pine Valley. Well, good morning and welcome back to the journal. Today I'm in Julian. Right now I'm in Julian, actually. And I'm going to be going to the other side of Julian. I'm going to be heading down toward Lake Cuyamaca to the Laguna Mountain Recreation Area. I think I'm making the turn right now. In fact, right up the road here is the Nickel Brewing Company. And I'm kind of looking forward to that maybe on the way back. We might make a run in there and maybe get a growler full. But anyway, today I'm heading out to a place I've never been to before. It's called the Pine Mountain. Let me roll the window up here. It's going to get a little noisy here. The old manual windows in the Jeep, don't you love it? Anyway, it's called Pine Mountain. And what's great about Pine Mountain, mustache is coming in pretty good too. Pine Mountain is starts off Pine Mountain Road and Pine Mountain Trail. Starts right across from the Pioneer Mail Trailhead, which is actually part of the PCT, goes right through there on the eastern side of Sunrise Highway, S1 I believe it is, or S2. And we're going to be parking there at the Pioneer Mail Trailhead, hiking across the street and going up sort of along Pine Mountain Road, Pine Mountain Truck Trail. We're going to make a loop up to a place called Champagne Pass, and then working our way down into maybe, if we're lucky enough, and depends on how I feel and the temperature, we might be making a loop toward a place called Hidden Lake. And I don't know if I'm going to make the top of Pine Mountain because it's kind of a bushwhack to the top, so we'll see. And then working our way down through Indian Creek back down to the trailhead. Should be a round trip hike of about, if I do the whole thing, maybe 5.5, 6 miles. We'll see. But what's going to make today interesting is there's a monsoonal system brewing off Mexico and the Gulf of Mexico, and it's working its way up. In fact, my brother-in-law in Tucson just got hit with a monster monsoon a couple days ago, and it made the news. And it's swirling around up here in Southern California. And as it works its way up, it's actually going to make it into inland San Diego County. And believe it or not, there's a 50% chance of rain, thunderstorms, and lightning today. So the chance of lightning is pretty high. And I'm going to be probably the highest thing on the ridgeline, so it's going to be interesting. I'm not going to be stupid about it. I mean, if I start getting lightning strikes, off in the distance and thunder ripping over my head, then I'm probably going to, make it down into the tree line and make it down into a safer area. But, I might get wet today. Who knows? It's supposed to come in this afternoon, and I'm between Julian and Lake Cuyamaca right now, and I can see a lot of thunderheads off in the distance. It's been really hot the last it's been hot for like the last month and a half, but the last week, probably 10 days solid, it's been 100 every day. It hasn't quite reached 100 at our house. We've been in the upper 90s, 97, 98, 99. But yesterday we were running errands, and you go 5 miles north of us and it's 103. So cooler elevation at this height because we're at almost 6,000 feet. It's going to be a daytime high of about 80, maybe 82. But the humidity is going to be high. So the heat index is going to be a lot higher than what we're used to. And this is a pretty windy road back here as we're heading down from between Julian and I guess this would kind of be Lake Cuyamaca split over by the state park. But anyway, so this is kind of a windy section. But anyway, it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. And I'm bringing about a gallon of water. So I'm going to need that extra hydration because I'm going to be sweating 3 times as much. I'm also going to have to make sure I bring enough electrolytes. And I'm also going to be right at the cusp. This is going to be interesting because I'm right at the cusp between the mountains to the right and the desert to the left, right on the end of Anza Borrego. So from where I park at Pioneer Mail, it's desert. It's desert right there. And just across the road, it's not. It's forest. So anyway, I'm coming up behind a horse trailer, it looks like. And he's going a lot slower than I am, so I got to slow down here. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. So I'll catch up with you in a few minutes when we get to the Pioneer Mail area. I might shoot a little video. We'll see how Lake Cuyamaca is doing. We were here a few months ago, and there's a lot of water in it because of the rain this year. But it's been hot, so we'll see how much that evaporated. Well, anyway, I'll catch up with you in a few minutes. Anyway, I'm already heading into the clouds here as I made the turn onto Sunrise Highway. And, I love this section of Sunrise Highway. This is a beautiful section. And I thought this would have been all dead and burnt by now from the extreme heat that you face up here. And it's actually not. It's still got a lot of greenery, which I was kind of surprised about. But it's not too much farther to get to the Pioneer Mail trailhead. And it should be coming up here in, 5 miles or so. All right, well, it looks like I'm coming up on the Pioneer Mail trailhead. Pull in here and see if there's anybody here today. Kind of doubt it. A little bit of breeze here. Looks like there's also a picnic area. Kind of cool. Looks like they have a bathroom. Oh, there is one car here. Parked vehicles must display a recreation pass. I think I'll back in. And we've arrived. Well, I'm at the Pioneer Mail Trailhead. This is actually a really nice area. It's got some, looks like fire rings and picnic tables and nice clearing if you wanted to have a small gathering. There's quite a few, at least 4, 5, 6 picnic tables. There's even got a bathroom, some nice oak trees for some shade. Parking's real close. Curious if you could camp here overnight. Have a nice little spot. Well, welcome back to another edition of the Journal. Today I'm out here in the Laguna Mountain Recreation Area. It's inland San Diego, and in fact just about a mile to the left of me here is the 4,000 foot drop into Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. But I'm going to be going to the west and into the Laguna Mountain Recreation Area. I'm going to be going up toward Pine Mountain, up the Pine Mountain Trail, and I'm going to do a loop of about 5 miles or so, give or take, depending on what other extra little loops and summits I decide to do while I'm up there. I'm going to be going up to the top of Pine Mountain. I'm going to work my way over to Champaign Pass, and then down into Indian Creek, and eventually work my way back here to the trailhead. So it's going to be an interesting day today. Normally this would be a really hot area to go hike in, especially last few days, the last day of July. Daytime high in Anza-Borrego is about 105, 109. And believe it or not, up here at 5,000, 6,000 feet, it's only going to be daytime high of about 82. So what makes today special is there's a monsoonal moisture system swirling up from Mexico, and it's the likelihood of us having thunder and lightning up here today is really high. In fact, meteorologists on the local news channels predicted a 50% chance of thunderstorms up here in the mountains to the east and to the south, which is exactly where I am today. So right now it's all cloudy, and it's cool, feels good, and once I get going, I'm sure I'm going to heat up. Elevation, I just felt a raindrop, nice. I did bring a kind of a wind shell / rain shell, but you know what? It's been so hot, I don't care if I get wet. So I felt another raindrop. So hopefully it won't rain too much, and hopefully there won't be too much lightning. I am wearing my kilt today. I'm wearing my Murphy tartan, my Tara District tartan. It's an Irish tartan, actually. So this ought to make for a good airflow underneath, if you get the drift, as I work my way up toward Pine Mountain. And maybe I'll get lucky and I'll run into a thunderstorm. You never know. Likelihood of seeing snakes is pretty high too today. There's not a lot of people on this trail. Nobody goes up here. It's a very, very rarely used trail, so we'll see what happens. And I'm getting more rain as we're speaking right now. So we'll see how this goes today. It might end up being a short hike. Alrighty, stick around. Follow me up to Pine Mountain out here in the Laguna Mountain Recreation Area. You know what's funny? I haven't even gone out of the parking lot. I'm already starting to get rain, and I'm already hearing thunder. Nice. You know, it was kind of funny. I just started at the trail, and it's sprinkling pretty good right here. And as I was crossing Sunrise Highway, I got to the start of the trail back there, and that's also where, I guess, Pine Mountain Road is. And there was a lady came by in a truck, and she was opening the gate so she could drive out. Boy, talk about some stairs. That's what she was staring at me today. It's awful strange. I already heard one big crack of thunder from that direction over there. Oh, you can see Monument Peak over there. And over there is Garnett. And it's sprinkling on me still. Hopefully it won't pick up too much. You know, as I'm working my way up this Pine Mountain Trail, it's actually not too bad so far. You can see Highway S1, Sunrise Highway, as it works its way down and snakes around as it heads up that way, but it's coming down. It's actually raining pretty good right now. So I'm also wearing something a little different today. I'm wearing my vest I've worn on quite a few of the hikes. I have a 1.5 liter hydration bladder in the back, and I've got two 16-ounce collapsible water bottles right here. So I've got almost 2.5 liters. But I'm also carrying this fanny bag that has shoulder straps, which is nice because it takes the load off my waist. I've also got a 24-ounce Kirkland, but basically Gatorade bottle on one side. It's frozen. That ought to be good for later. And then another bottle on the other side that's got about 24 ounces of an electrolyte. So I should be good hydration-wise today. I've also got a rain shell, which I might just need here in a minute because it's starting to come down pretty good. I don't want to have to cover up the camera if I don't have to. Anyway, continuing on the trail to the top of Pine Mountain. You know, I just came from around the corner over there, and off this way you can see part of the valley down there, and I think that's part of S1. You can see also Monument Peak is way in the distance. Two things about this hike. Well, one of the things that you have to be aware of when you come up here is you have to worry about ticks. On some of the trip reports that I read, they've never seen so many ticks on their dog. And other people that had wrote that they found ticks on them when they got back to the car, when they got back home. And you do have to worry about Lyme's disease. And you know, having a tick bite, that's a big issue. So before I left the house today, and when I got back to the trailhead over here, I covered myself with some Repel with 40% DEET. And if you never use DEET, or if you don't know anything about DEET, scientists have figured out over the years that basically DEET is the only thing that really works. There's other things that they can use. You know, there's some of the lotions from Avon and anything with permethrin in it. You know, it works, but not to the level of DEET. But the problem is DEET is highly toxic. And, you know, I do have a little bottle that's years old. It's 100% DEET. And that, I'm not kidding you, that shit will eat right through nylon. That's just cancerous. It'll get into your skin and seep into your body. That's not what you want on your skin. So they've discovered that 100% DEET is totally effective as long as you put it on something other than your skin. You can put it on a piece of non-nylon material, like a washcloth or something, or a piece of cotton that can hang off your backpack, and that'll work. Or you can get a 40% DEET, which is what they've discovered is the absolute minimum percentage of DEET that is actually effective. So what I used today was a 40% DEET spray from Repel. And the other thing that they talk about up here is there's no shade. And you can see around me, I haven't seen a tree yet. And even Pine Mountain doesn't have that many trees. So we'll see if it ends up being a factor today. I don't think so because it's raining pretty good right now. Anyway, I got to keep going. I got to keep everything dry. All right, well, I just came to a trail junction. It looks like this road is going to go to my right. The actual Pine Mountain Trail continues to the left. And behind me, up there in the trees, is actually Pine Mountain. And I read from a couple of community posts on All Trails, there's not really a trail to get to the top of Pine Mountain. But looking at the map, it looks like I can work my way around to the right, around this backside, and it looks like it's the most level place to go. So we're going to give it a shot. If it looks anything like this, I don't think it's possible, at least not when in sandals, but we'll see what the trail brings here in another minute or two. There are some pine trees though. All right, well, I'm working my way around the backside, technically, of Pine Mountain. Pine Mountain is over that direction. And I'm looking at my All Trails map, and I don't know if you can see that. The blue dot is where I am. With polarizing filter makes it difficult. But probably here in about another 3 or 4 more minutes, I'm going to be at a little more of a flat spot. I'm going to be able to go cross country, hopefully to the top of Pine Mountain. I don't know if there's a summit register. I don't think there is. In fact, I was told that's kind of an uneventful peak, but I'm going to go do it anyway. We're going to find out. And actually the rain stopped, the winds picked up, and you know what, it's really nice right here. I like the cool breeze. And so far the trail's been great, a lot better than I expected. Anyway, I gotta keep going. Well, according to the All Trails map on here, looks like Pine Mountain is basically due east from here. So I'm gonna go cross country, see if I can find my way to Pine Mountain. I just gotta look for snakes because I don't think a lot of people come up here wearing sandals. You gotta be extra careful. See if I can find the less invasive route here to get to the top. Some big pine cones up here. Well, the best I can tell, this is the top of Pine Mountain. I've been up on the top of this doing circles for the last 20 minutes, checking the All Trails GPS app, and I can see the actual pinpoint of Pine Mountain, and I'm hiking all around it. So this spot that I'm at right now is basically center of Pine Mountain. To me, it looks like it goes up a little bit more that direction. So when I leave, I'm going to go that direction. I don't think there's a benchmark. There's no signing register here. But I got to admit, it is pretty nice. And I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen any deer up here, because this would be prime spot for them. And of course, you know, mountain lions too. So anyway, it stopped raining for now. And but I tell you what, man, the humidity is high right now. And the little breeze that we're getting from the south and east really helps. So I'm gonna keep going. When I get to the other side, maybe if I get a little viewpoint, I'll stop and take a break for a few minutes. I haven't touched any of my hydration yet. So anyway, I'm gonna go explore a little more, see if I can find a benchmark or something. I don't think there is one, but I don't know, I'm gonna keep looking. Just a pretty cool lizard too. Well, I almost stepped on this little guy. Didn't see him. Almost ran across my foot. All right, well, I had to do a little bushwhacking, more than I anticipated, because around the rim of Pine Mountain is some pretty thick brush. You know, you can find your way through a lot of it, but so I decided to head southwest through the brush. I came back to the opening, and this is what I really wanted to see besides the top of Pine Mountain, was this spot here. It's called Hidden Lake, and it's right behind me. And if I was going to see deer or any animals at all, I would think this would be the place, because they have access to water, cover, and this is a nice area. So I'm going to work my way down here to the water's edge, and this looks like a great spot for a break. If I don't twist an ankle going over all these pine cones. There's like an absolute ton of pine cones here as I'm down here by Hidden Lake. Well, I've worked my way down to Hidden Lake, and this is pretty scenic. I'm going to take a break here at Hidden Lake and make sure there's no snakes hiding in the recesses here. Anyway, I think I'm going to take a break here at Hidden Lake and get caught up on my hydration. I do have my 1 liter hydration bag in the back. It's a little muddy here, and I'm sinking in a little bit. But I also have a frozen Gatorade bottle. That sounds pretty good. I also have electrolyte mix over on this side, so I might try some of that for right now. But it's actually, temperature-wise, it's perfect. It's probably in the mid 70s, I imagine, and it's got a nice cool breeze, and the rain has stopped. So anyway, so I'm gonna take a few minutes here, get some hydration in me, and then continue my loop over around towards Champagne Pass. Huh? What do you say? And I do have to keep my eye open for mountain lions, because there are mountain lions up in this area, and this is, talk about a prime location. There's deer, there's turkey, all kinds of squirrels, tree squirrels, ground squirrels, birds. You know, if I was a mountain lion, this is where I'd hang out. This would be a pretty place to camp. Now, in the summertime, and it is summertime, but because of the winter we had, it's different. This is completely bone dry right here. I'm surprised to see this much water. I don't think there's any fish in it. There's a lot of tadpoles, and I see them kind of swimming around the top of the surface, and maybe when we do a perimeter around the edge of this lake in this mud, maybe we'll see some footprints. Wouldn't that be cool? In the meantime, take a break. Now, this is that supplemental bag that I'm using. It's got the 24-ounce electrolyte replacement drink. I got a frozen Gatorade bottle over there. I've got the rest of my camera supplies. I've got a rain shell in there. Some of the 10 essentials. I have a thermometer, and it says it's about 75 right here. And I've also got my hydration vest over here, and I haven't touched any of that yet. So But you know what sounds good is that electrolyte supplement. I'm going to try that. Okay, I mentioned at the start of the video about making a mountain out of a molehill. Well, this is where the hike kind of took a big shit.
That is one big pile of shit.
I got nobody to blame for it except myself, because I was in a hurry, kind of lazy, and maybe just a little too cocky for my own good. Remember, I downloaded a route on my GPS. I also had a track downloaded on my AllTrails map on the phone, and I had also printed out a map that stayed safe and secure in my fanny pack. Now, according to a track left by another AllTrails user named Clinton Woods, he departed the Pine Mountain Trail at a junction where the trail goes left or south toward Champagne Pass. Now, Clinton continued west around the backside of the Pine Mountain and worked his way up to the summit from the backside. He also went back down and located a hidden lake before continuing cross-country, south, eventually hooking back up with the Pine Mountain Trail on his way to Champagne Pass. Looked like a pretty easy and sensible route, right? I made the ride heading around the backside of Pine Mountain, and I worked my way to the summit. Okay, so here's where I fucked up. Looking at my AllTrails phone map, it looked like if I just hiked back up the hill a bit, around the end of the lake, I could drop right down onto Pine Mountain Trail coming up from the other side of the peak and follow it straight up to Champagne Pass, just like the AllTrails Pine Mountain Loop suggested. Easy peasy. Turns out that just over the top of that ridge, that beautiful pine forest turned into a quagmire of razor wire sharpened burnout regrowth with fire-hardened sharpened punji sticks. And of course, it didn't start out that way. At first, there were some decent pathways I could meander through. I'm not retarded, just a little twisting and turning and backing up and rerouting, but I always seemed to find a way through. By now, I was mostly down the hillside, and after looking at my phone several times, the trail was right there, I swear. Now, you know those little closely spaced contour lines and those green and brown things on the map? Well, that's sagebrush. And that's not indicating a scenic woodland, and that crap grows in some of the most inhospitable places, and it's tough as nails. Once I realized I really couldn't go any further, it was too late. I was already committed. I mean, the trail was right there. I pushed through it, strutting my exposed legs, and I left enough DNA of ripped skin and donated enough blood to fill the Red Cross bloodmobile. I had scratches and cuts from the top of my feet all the way up to my butt cheeks. And wearing a kilt, you know I got some of those. When I finally pushed through that last bush, everything from the waist down was stinging. All right, well, I just bushwhacked, literally bushwhacked my way down from the top of Pine Mountain through this crap right here. And boy, that was some evil stuff. I don't know if you can see my legs. I can't go up any higher. That's pretty brutal. I'll get you a close-up view. Not a great place to go wearing shorts, if you know what I mean. All right, well, I'm gonna get you a close-up view here. If you're a little squeamish, I wouldn't be looking. But this is what I got going through the brush back there. That was bad. So I'm gonna take a few minutes. I have some wipes I'm gonna wipe down and get all the blood off me. Hopefully I don't have any more of this. Oh my God. What a brutal patch that was. I've never drawn this much blood on a trail. But instead of stopping right here, I'm gonna work my way up to Champagne Pass because it's such a great trail right here. I mean, it's wide open. The grade is nice. It's got a nice cool breeze. I'm gonna work my way up to Champagne, and that's where I'm gonna take another break. Maybe I'll wash my wounds. Well, I am not at Champagne Pass yet, but I am at this viewpoint where you have a great view off to the south and west. And I believe the mountain way off in the distance is Cuyamaca Peak on the right, and that pointed one is probably Stonewall. So I'm continuing down. Laguna Mountain is right in front of us. It's behind the hill that you see there. You can see the trail going up. And I am going to take the side route up to the top right there, which I believe is Champagne Pass. And then it looks like our trail might be going down to the bottom there. I'm not sure. I do see a trail. So we'll see where the trail leads us. And back this way, you can see the trail I just came down. You can also see off in the distance, you can also see Monument Peak way up there in the distance. I am so glad to get out of that manzanita, man. That was brutal. Whew. And I'm a little surprised. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. That's a big tarantula. Hold on. Scared the shit out of me. You got to see him right there. I was just going to tell you. He's in the bushes right there. That was pretty funny. He's in the bushes. I really can't see him. I don't know if you can see him from there. See if I can get him to move a little bit. See if I can get him to move out of the bushes here. Okay, come on, buddy. There he goes. He's working his way back toward me now. Okay, come on. Come on, come back out on the trail. Just stay away from my sandal. He's going to stick to the bushes, it looks like. Yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. What a big, brave hiker I am. He almost got my foot. I was just going to say, you know, I have yet to see a snake. And if I was to see a snake, I would think this would be the ideal place to see one, because I'm up here in the ridgeline exposed. And if they did decide that they were going to leave their den and come out here and get some sun today, even though there's not really any sun, but they might have absorbed some of this heat, that this would be the location. So just when I was ready to say that, that tarantula came out and wow, scared me half to death. And I've seen tarantulas on the trail 100 times, but it's just, you know, unexpectedly like that. It was too much. This is turning out to be quite the adventure today. But there was a trail that went back that way. I don't know if that's our trail or not. I haven't seen a sign. I'm continuing this way. In a minute, I'll look on the All Trails app and see where I am on the map. All right, I've been hiking down the trail for a while. I came to the junction. Wouldn't you know it? Check that out. They did not only have a sign for the trail going 2 different directions. Indian Creek Trail to the left, Cuyamaca State Park 2 miles to the right, Sunrise Highway 4 miles to the left. And they've also got some benches here. That's nice. Looks like going down that way, the Pine Mountain Trail, 2 1/4 back to the car. We're going to be going that way eventually down the Indian Creek Trail, but right now we're going to go up to the top of Champagne Pass. What do you think? Let's do it. Well, this was the kind of stuff I was plowing through. Is this brush right here? And of course, as I'm working my way up to Champagne Pass, it's only 2 feet high. Where I was, it was overhead high. I was getting scratches all over my body. Well, about as far as I can tell, this is Champagne Pass. You do have a good view, Garnet Peak over there and Monument Peak over there to the east, and then as you're looking south, you have a pretty decent view. That's down there, that's most likely, that's Laguna Meadows, Big Laguna Lake and Little Laguna Lake. As you're working your way around to the west, it's like the sun's trying to come out over there. So I've worked my way all the way up and over, and this is what I've come to, so I think this is as good a spot as any to turn around. I am going to go up there and take a break, though. All right, well, I am officially past the halfway point. I just left the Champagne Pass bench, and it's pretty open and exposed, and it's I'm starting to get sprinkles again. Still no thunder or lightning. I know that this afternoon is when the major portion comes in, so hopefully I'll be back to the Jeep by, yeah, it's already 12, so hopefully by I'm going to say 1:32 at the latest, maybe even sooner than that. I read that part of the Skyline Trail is a little confusing down at the bottom, and it's a little overgrown. But I'll tell you what, nothing can be as bad as what I did. In fact, even going up the top of Champagne Pass, I thought I saw somewhere, other than the bench, that if you kept going up to the top, there was a great viewpoint and there was a sign and a summit register. I didn't see anything. I mean, maybe it's there and I just didn't look hard enough. I got to admit, going through more of that brush, scratching up against my legs was all I could bear. So I kind of turned around right there at the top of that pass. And now I'm working my way down the Skyline Trail. I can see the trail. In fact, you can see the trail. You can tell where it's going. Looks like it's going right down there, down into Indian Creek. So, or Indian Creek Trail. Maybe that's what it's called. I don't remember now. But I'll keep an eye on the old trails, especially if I come to any junctions. Make sure I'm on the right path. And hopefully the storm will hold off a little while longer. Well, from here you can see about where our trail is going to go. In fact, there's a mountain biker down there, working his way up along the creek. He's checking it out. I don't know if he sees me. All right, well, I was hiking down the Indian Creek Trail, working my way back to Pioneer Mail, to the trailhead. Ran across this brave young guy on his mountain bike. What's your name?
Steve.
Where are you from, Steve?
La Mesa.
So how long you been riding up here in these parts?
Well, this is 38 years on these little single tracks up here.
What do you think about today? Are we going to get some thunder and lightning maybe?
I hope so, but any day with clouds and a few raindrops, that's what you come for. That's dessert.
That's it. I know, that's great to be out here, especially in this part of the
Keep
San Diego County when it's not 100 degrees. All right, well, you have a nice bike back out,
All right.
and maybe I'll see you at the trailhead. Take care.
Have a soak in the creek down there, man. You'll love it.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, thanks.
All right, man.
Well, just around the corner here, I was at a trail split. I ran into Steve, a mountain biker. Gave me a great tip. He said down here the water's running clear and cold. And I think this is as good a spot as any to stop for a minute. Maybe rinse my feet off a little bit. Oh, this is cold. Cold water. Water's not very deep. It's only water's only ankle deep, but man, it feels good. Whew. I might stand here for a minute, soak my toes. This feels good. Whew. And it's a little grassy up here, so that's the one good thing. I don't have to worry about drying off my socks because I got my Luna sandals on. Anyway, I'll let my feet dry off here a little bit, and I'll continue on the trail. He said the trail from here isn't that bad. I have a incline of like maybe 300 feet, and then that's about it. It levels off, and he said it's a slight grade back to the car. Now, what do you know? Check that out. That's a tick. Gonna have to look for these today. Don't want these crawling on me today. Gonna have to do a good tick check. Well, Steve is down there. I'm gonna be working my way down through the valley here. Work my way up and to the right, where I'll eventually meet the Jeep back at Pioneer Mail. What an adventure. Well, I'm not too far from the car. Maybe a mile, maybe less. I have to admit, this has been quite the adventure. It's been nice that it's been overcast and cool. The little raindrops we had, not a lot, but just occasional raindrops, was enough to keep the heat exhaustion at bay. That's Indian Creek right there. And there is water in it, not a lot, but there's some. And I haven't heard any thunder in the last couple of hours. I haven't seen any lightning. And Steve, that I was talking to, the guy on the mountain bike, he said last time he was up here, they were kind of near Pioneer Mail, and he said lightning was striking the mountain onto the left and striking the mountain off to the right. And then eventually the thunder and lightning converged, and it was thundering and lightning was hitting everywhere, and they ran for cover in the over by the bathroom at Pioneer Mail. So anyway, it's heating up. The humidity's starting to take its toll on me a little bit. I can feel it, but I'm not that far from the car, and I still got plenty of water. I still got that frozen Gatorade. When I get to the top of this hill here, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll pop out that Gatorade because it sounds good right now. Whew. I haven't seen any wildlife. I'm kind of surprised, other than the tarantula and the one lizard and a bunch of ants. That's about it. I was kind of surprised. I thought I would have seen a snake today, or at least a deer, but nothing. I guess they're all hunkering down. Well, got to keep going. Got to get to the top of the hill, and then, according to Steve, it's just a slight incline back to the Jeep. And that is a falcon soaring overhead. See if he comes a little closer. I just heard him scream. Could be a peregrine falcon. See if he comes a little over more this way. Beautiful. Well, I'm not too far from the car from here. I can can't see the road, but I can see the metal guardrail. And I don't hear any vehicles, but not a lot of vehicles travel Sunrise Highway. So, looks like I'll be back at the road here in about 10 minutes and maybe be back to the car in 15. So, what do you think of Indian Creek Trail on Laguna Mountain? Here, the sun's coming out. Imagine that. I'm glad I waited till I almost got to the car because I have a feeling it's going to heat up. And that humidity right now seems like about 80%. Whew. Tell you what, I got some ice cold beverages in the ice chest in the Jeep. Plus I got that frozen Gatorade still. So, whew, it's a little farther to go. Well, I made it back to the Jeep here at Pioneer Mail, and it's heating up quite a bit. And I think to celebrate this tough hike, I'm gonna have some agua de coco con pulpa. So it's coconut water with pulp. And this is refreshing to me. It always has been. Not as refreshing as a beer, but better for me. This was a tough hike, man. The hike itself, if I were to have stayed on the Pine Mountain Trail, gone around even the backside of Pine Mountain, and worked my way over to the trail on the other side of Pine Mountain, went up to Champagne Pass, the junction where the benches were, and then looped back around. Great hike. The hike up to Pine Mountain itself from the road or from the trail, that wasn't bad either. But man, from the top of Pine Mountain going due east through that sagebrush, I'll never do that again. And that was brutal. So, but I made it. I've got scratches everywhere. I did get a tick, at least one. I'm going to have to check for ticks when I get home because I wouldn't doubt if I have more. I'll have to do a thorough tick check in the nether regions, the places I can't see. And I'll have to definitely treat my wounds for sure. So anyway, I'm going to head back, heading north on Sunrise Highway back to Julian. Maybe I'll get a surprise when I get to Julian. Well, after doing a tough hike, what's better than stopping off at a brewery here in Julian? The Nickel Beer Company. Let's go inside and check it out. Okay, well, I wasn't going to do it, but how could you not stop at the Julian Pie Company and get one of those Dutch apples, those crumb Dutch apples? They're phenomenal. So called the wife on the way home after I left Nickel Brewery, and I decided, what the hell, let's get us an apple pie for tonight. So all those boxes of pies and those apples ready to be made. Here at the Julian Pie Company. All right, well, I stopped off at the Julian Pie Company. I got a Dutch apple pie, a jug of apple cider, and an iced coffee to go to get me home. Well, when I got home, I pulled up the topographic map on my computer and downloaded my actual route that I recorded on my GPS. I superimposed it over the top of the Clinton route. Here, you can plainly see my mistakes. Now, all I would have had to done was to look at the damn map and just at the end of the lake shoot an azimuth south and head just a short ways through a mostly even open woodland forest, and I would have popped right back out on the trail toward Champagne Pass. The route I took was steeper, longer, and a hell of a lot tougher. That's what I get for being lazy and in a hurry, I guess. Now I gotta lick my wounds and wait for the scratches to scab over. Not a pretty sight for sure. And to make matters worse, one big cut on the side of my foot is infected now. And I can't be for sure whether it's from that dirty creek water I stood in, or maybe it was just from being stupid when I got home and leaving the cut open and untreated, where I wore flip-flops for the next several days. Well, that'll do it for another edition of the Hiking Journal, my solo hike to the summit of Pine Mountain and Champagne Peak. In this edition, I dodged a thunderstorm, summited a lesser-known peak or two, found a hidden lake, took a quick rinse in a cool creek, picked a tick off my arm, and donated blood. A lot of blood. Oh, and what's the best way to celebrate such an amazing adventure? How about a quick stop off at Nickel Brewing Company in Julian for a flight of ice-cold beer tastings, and then an awesome Dutch apple pie from the Julian Pie Company. Anyway, I hope you liked this episode of the Hiking Journal, and be sure and click the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to tap that notification bell to get the latest updates to the channel as I post them. Oh, and one more thing, I decided to save my Montserrat mountain hike video for another day, as I thought this one was more exciting. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye.